Ralston been dumped off his Nightline heartthrob by Stormin' Norman, here he is on the phone with a cunning plan to regain favour. So tonight we present Armchair General, starring the man who admits brave men run in his family.
What? Me get shot at? Fat chance. Hey, I've been watching Stormin' Norman's briefings on the telly, and that looks like my kind of job, and I can do that from here. Now, behind me you can see a map of the Gulf. Well, actually, we couldn't find a map of the Gulf. It's Wellington and the Wairarapa, but I'm reliably informed the terrain is much the same. Anyway, who wants to go to war in a Muslim country? No booze, no bonking. What on earth would a journalist find to do over there? Hey, Norman, now call me, though, when the war reaches Las Vegas or Hawaii. Anyway, tonight we bring you the first of a special Nightline series, Armchair General. Yes, everyone is now an expert on the war, including me. So Armchair General is designed to give us all a say on how the war should be run. Well, we can't do worse than Norman or Saddam, and at least we won't be killing anyone. Our first contributor to Armchair General, Field Marshal Jim Bolger. Here he is a couple of days ago, giving us the benefit of his military insight.
It's very, very clear that the bombing carried out by the multinational force has been devastating the Iraqi defences.
Yes, those bombing raids must be devastating. Well, as he said it was obvious the morale of the Iraqi troops was cracking, shattered by all the bombing. All they could do was launch a series of lightning raids into Saudi, capture at least one town, dig in and get thrown out only after one hell of a battle. Yep, those guys are obviously on their knees.
There are possibilities as to why it was undertaken, possible to see whether or not the defence by the multinational force was going to be strong, whether there were any weaknesses that might be determined. It may have been an attempt to cover deployment into some other regions in the Gulf, or maybe, and perhaps quite probably, to try and make some good news for Saddam Hussein.
Now there speaks our classic Armchair General, and he has an advantage over me because I haven't had one of Don McKinnon's confidential briefings on the war yet. Corporal McKinnon has called editors and reporters in for special briefings from Foreign Affairs on the war because he thinks our Gulf coverage sucks.
I was a bit disappointed about it about 10 days ago, I think, for a number of things that came out, and hence the reason I invited editors.
719 999. Meanwhile, back to the war. At least the journos with Bolger won't have their stories censored because, according to Don, the Kiwi journalists in the Gulf will have their stories vetted by the military for security reasons.
I said we'll do all we can to endeavour that the New Zealand journalists get their opportunities to talk to the New Zealand personnel there on a basis that doesn't jeopardise anything of a security nature.
Well, even without censorship, I can assure Don Saddam will get no secrets out of Nightline about the New Zealand forces in the Gulf. Yes, if Baghdad learns they've run out of Band-Aids, suntan oil or blown a spark plug on the Hercules, he didn't get it from us. Here at Nightline, we're right behind the war, about as far behind as we can get, to be perfectly honest. You won't find any of those commie-loving peace freaks here. Now, look at them protesting the war over the weekend in Auckland's Albert Park. Talk about flashback to Woodstock. Break out the beanbags and the paisley caftans. The peace, love and freedom of the hippy-dippy 60s is back, courtesy of the war. They'll be smoking funny cigarettes and listening to Jimi Hendrix next. Well, finally on Armchair General, the latest off the wires from the Gulf crisis. A true story from Seattle, Washington. It reports worried soldiers being shipped to the Gulf are banking sperm at hospitals before shipping out. Well, I suppose anyone would be worried about their reproductive capacity getting a little curtailed in a war zone, but it costs more than $400 to make a deposit, which is a lot if you're a soldier. For the New Zealand troops heading over there, hey, maybe Nightline could lend a hand. Give us a call, guys. Till next time, good night.